the president may require nursing home staff to get vaccinated against COVID-19 in order for facilities to continue receiving federal Medicare and Medicaid funding. Once he takes the podium, we will bring you coverage of his speech on air and online.
Also breaking this afternoon, the final winners of the vaccine lottery. And once again, one of the winners is from our area. Lily Fowler is from Yadkin County.
She is a senior at NC State, and Lily shared why she chose to get the vaccine.
Well, I chose to get vaccinated because I was transferring from an early college, and last year, junior year of college, I wasn't able to live in Raleigh, but now I'm in my senior year at State. I'm in Raleigh. It's a bigger city, more risks, and I decided it was probably time for me to get vaccinated. And what I would say to somebody who is on the fence about getting vaccinated is to it's a personal choice, you know, just do your research with sources you deem reliable.
And just to clarify, she was the $1 million winner of the final lottery drawing.
Absolutely. So we want to wish congratulations to Lily, but wait until you hear what she plans to do with that money.
I'll probably just maybe invest and wait till I'm going to buy a house. However, in the short term, I do want to take my baby cousin Kinsley, who loves Elsa and Mickey, to Disney World when it is safer to do so.
The final winner of the Cash for College scholarship is 15-year-old Breland Dean from Garner, North Carolina. So congratulations to them.
Boy, I would love to be related to her right now. She's bringing her baby cousins to Disney World.
That's so great. You know, so selfless. I love that. Love it.
Such a great comment. I wasn't expecting that. And the fact that at her age she's going, I'm going to invest. Like,
right.
What? That's phenomenal.
And you know what's funny is, and you know, maybe even we're the same way, I just can't fathom winning that amount of money. And so while she says that she's going to bring her baby cousins to Disney World, she could probably bring all of Yadkin County to Disney World and pay for everybody to go there.
Isn't
I mean,
like
that's a lot of money.
It's 700,000 plus, right? After taxes?
Some ridiculous
That's
amount.
a lot.
Yes.
I mean, we're so lucky here in the Triad. What does that make, 4?
Yeah, 4.
Yes.
Wow.
And so an interesting thing that I thought about too, of all 8 winners, all 8 winners were females. Not one male
Women
won
rule.
any money in the vaccine lottery.
I literally just heard our producer cheer from the control booth. Not kidding. I am not kidding.
She didn't win. I don't know what she's cheering about.
Hey.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, going from the fun part of that news conference to the not so fun part. The state experts, they have given us a kind of a grim prognosis for our situation in the pandemic. Here's the data that state health experts are now worried about. The state says it learned of more than 5,200 new cases in the past 24 hours. I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a better look at this. It's not the highest number that we've seen in the past month, but it is up there. Just look at how poorly we have done over the past month. Our current numbers are 5 times higher than where they were just a month ago. Today, Dr. Mandy Cohen shared an alarming statistic during that update. She says that we are experiencing the fastest acceleration in new cases ever. On this track, she says we will surpass the highest peak in the pandemic in a matter of weeks.
Data from the State Department of Health and Human Services shows only about 1 in 10,000 fully vaccinated people in North Carolina have developed a breakthrough COVID case severe enough to end up in hospitals. Our CBS affiliate in Raleigh reports the State Department cites 523 breakthrough cases were hospitalized. There are 4.9 million fully vaccinated people in the state, and we've seen a total of nearly 16,000 breakthrough cases. So that breaks down to 0.3% of fully vaccinated people getting COVID-19. 56% of everyone eligible to get the vaccine are fully vaccinated.
The other big story of the day, rescue teams are searching for more than 30 people after floods washed through the Canton area west of Asheville. The Winston-Salem Fire Department's rescue team is assisting with operations today. So far, they've rescued 40 people and evacuated more than 20 pets. You can see the damage from Fred here in all of these pictures. This property was washed away in floodwaters and multiple RVs were damaged there. Here, a car was pushed up onto a tree and the car porch was bent. Then a crew member approaches a car stranded on a pile of logs and debris as floodwaters rush in the back. Then these homes are just underwater. You can see the water levels reach front porches and a truck is submerged there. Greensboro Urban Search and Rescue is also assisting in the area. All right, Eric, you, Christian, and Tim have covered multiple tornado warnings, and the warnings just kept pouring in last night. It's wild to see how all of that rain flooded the area so quickly.
Yeah, we noticed for sure that you would see a couple of cells here or there that just kind of developed and then just dumped almost like tropical rains as they moved by. And then they'd fall apart a little bit as they moved on, and they were moving at a pretty decent clip. But when you put that much rain out of one cell over the area, you can bet you'll see some flooding. And obviously we did. Those pictures do not lie. We had that in spots all over the mountain and foothill communities. Temperatures for us, though, here at home, close to anywhere between 86 and about 89 degrees. That's kind of our range across the viewing area. Tonight, we look for that low of 70. Mainly clear, though, tonight. Now, tomorrow, we'll start to push back up to those upper 80s and close to 90 with a chance of a late day shower or thunderstorm again as we watch a cold front start to approach from the north and west. Now, we're all good today, right? All clear, a couple of showers and thunderstorms at the coastal sections, but we're watching this cold front that is moving by and will push down to the south. Will actually do a couple of good things for us. It may drop us by a few degrees for a day or so, but the better news is what it might do to the tropical systems that we have out there and how they're approaching. So here's what it looks like. The remnants of Fred moving north and east. Here's the cold front. That trough will dip down to the south. That'll help trigger some of those late day showers or storms tomorrow, but the bigger impact could be with Henri off the coast here, as that is forecasted by Saturday to be a Category 1, but that cold front will make it steer back to the north. Here's what the future track looks like. Obviously this changes every day, but we'll watch it. Winds at 85, so a Category 1 by Saturday, but look at that hard turn to the north. What's interesting with this one is when you look at the spaghetti models, and each line represents a different mathematical formula basically to predict. Some of these take it back in toward New York and the Boston area at the end of the forecast period. Very unusual for one to come in, turn to the north, and then turn back to the west as it moves through. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Hopefully that will not impact our forecast at all. We'll have the 7-day for you in just a little bit.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. U.S. health officials are now recommending all Americans get COVID-19 booster shots to amp up their protection against the coronavirus. The CDC outlined a plan calling for an extra dose 8 months after people get their second shot of the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccines. Health officials said people who received the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine may also need boosters, but they're still waiting for additional data to form a plan. Right now, a plan needs FDA approval. Over the weekend, the FDA approved booster vaccines for people with weakened immune systems. Since that approval, health departments in the Triad have started administering the third dose. The Carolina Panthers will require all fans and staff to wear masks in indoor locations in the Bank of America Stadium. The new rule is in accordance with Charlotte's upcoming mask ordinance. Face coverings will not be required outside, and masks will be available at stadium entrances for anyone who needs one. Stadium workers will continue health protocols from last year, so that includes cashless transactions, mobile ticketing, and cleaning policies. If someone is not fully vaccinated, they are encouraged to wear their mask at all times. TSA is extending its mask mandate until early next year. TSA officials say extending the mask mandate for travelers is a safety precaution and increases public confidence in traveling. Travel has slowly increased after a drop in travel last year. The TSA said it screened more than 6 million travelers between July 30th and August 1st. The federal mask mandate has led to thousands of incidents of unruly behavior, including here in North Carolina airports. T-Mobile confirms it suffered from a recent cyber attack, which exposed the personal data of millions of current, former, and potential customers. The company started investigating last week after someone took an online forum offering to sell the personal information of cell phone users. Nearly 8 million current customers were impacted. The investigation revealed some of the leaked personal data includes social security numbers, birth dates, names, and driver's license information. The company added PIN numbers, names, and phone numbers were also breached, but the company already reset PINs on affected accounts and will notify customers. No Metro by T-Mobile, former Sprint prepaid or Boost customers were exposed in the breach. We'll be right back.
Yeah, bro, I'm here. Got it.
All right, y'all. Hope you've been studying because it's time for a pop quiz. What is happening today? And you only get one guess each.
It's hump day.
Okay.
It's
48 hours from the weekend.
It's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Hey, there you go.
Happy birthday, Miss Yogi. Well, you guys are all wrong.
Oh, well, I was
The
right,
answer
but
is- It's our 72nd birthday, so WFMY News 2 is celebrating 72 years on air with you. Our station provided the first live broadcast in North Carolina. That broadcast lasted 4 minutes and 25 seconds, but before we were able to get on air, we needed the green light. So in June of 1948, the Greensboro News Company was granted a construction permit from the FCC to build a television station with the call letters WFMY TV, which would become the Channel 2 that you know and love. So since then, so many local performers have taken the stage in our studio for primetime programming. In the last 72 years since WFMY News 2 has been on air, the ACC tournament has been in our backyard more times than anywhere else, which means we've been bringing you basketball right to your living room for 72 years. And we've been honored to be home to figures like Sandra Hughes, who stood for equality as she anchored for WFMY News 2. So here's to welcoming you into our lives for the last 72 years.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
It's the history stuff. I just love that. We can't forget Lee Kynard either, who was really kind of the father of the station. And you know, it's amazing what he created the Good Morning Show, which is the longest running local weekday morning show in the entire country. The name has never changed. He created the format for that, and of course it's been tweaked over the years, but he did a lot for this station. I'll tell you one thing real quick, guys, that I think we may understand this more than the viewers, but try to get this across. He would produce the show and anchor it at the same time. So in the commercial breaks, he would look down and make the calls on what stories aren't going to run. It was amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing.
and I've only been here 3 years now, and I wasn't too familiar with the history of the station before I got here, but ever since I've been here, I've learned something new pretty much every day about the things that this station has done and the history that we've made here.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Jalen. You know, I've been here for about 5 months, but I'm definitely looking forward to our new segment on Fridays, Flashback Friday, that you brought to us, where we can learn more about the station, what it's doing in the community, and just how it's grown over the last 72 years.
I mean, with the first broadcast, we are basically the Wright brothers of North Carolina television.
I like that.
I think,
only
right?
WBTV in Charlotte was the one, they beat us only because our tower was struck by lightning. Otherwise, we would have been the first one to even air anything.
Wow. Could you imagine being around at that time? Incredible. All right, well, we're going to go to break. Let us know your favorite memory or your favorite personality.
There you go.
On Facebook.
Birthday
I hope it's me.
Jalen's mom.
Jalen's mom.
There we go.
Happy
But looking at the forecast today, a whole different ballgame from yesterday. Thank goodness. We don't want to see that again. Heavy rains, winds, tornado warnings all over the place. Much clearer today. But if you did notice, we have a few gusts of wind, especially in the early morning hours. Not that bad, really. Temperatures are back to normal. 86 in Greensboro, 89 in High Point. Winston-Salem, you're at 87 right now. Mount Airy at 85 and Reedsville, 88. Yanceyville up to 89 degrees. Now, when you factor in the humidity, the heat index, or what it feels like for us, is in the low 90s, with Burlington and Siler City both at 93, and in Raleigh, the capital, it feels like it's 94 degrees there, but not as bad as Pinehurst and Southern Pines, showing up at 97 for a heat index reading. Very hot in the Sandhills region. Pretty clear as far as rain is concerned. We have to go out to a wider shot to see anything, and this is part of a frontal system, and as that cold front gets closer to us and moves by, it may help us with a couple degrees with temperatures, but really, as we mentioned in our first weather segment, the more important factor with this is that that system moves down and starts to steer our next tropical system back to the north. This is Henri, who should be off the coast. You look at the timestamp there, that was at, that'll be Friday at about 4 o'clock. So that's what we'll see them. Thank goodness that front is there, because it does steer that system away from us. Also have to note Hurricane Grace still out there, but this one stays well to the south of us. We'll be watching this moving into the Yucatan, possibly as a Category 1. That'll happen on Thursday, so possibly tomorrow afternoon. We will keep you posted on all of that. Active tropics right now, but it is that time of the year. So we look for highs tomorrow around 90. There is a 40% chance of late day showers and storms, and then we'll see a 50% chance of rain on Friday. High temperature cools down to 86 as that front moves by. We're back to normal after that. Upper 80s, 87 to 89, our range of highs. That'll be Saturday through Wednesday. Every day, just variably cloudy to partly cloudy skies, and our rain chances go back to a normal 30% for Sunday through the middle of next week. All right, you know, I love my kids. Being a father has really taught me more than I've taught them, that's for sure. From their births to sending the twins off to college now, it just seems like there's always something to learn. And in today's U-Day segment, Coach Lamont shares how being a father shaped him to be a better man.
If you ask me the secret to fatherhood, I would say lead, love, listen, repeat. What was hard for me is leading my family when I didn't trust myself enough to lead. I would look at many of the decisions that I made and doubt would set in. Wait, doubt didn't set in, doubt lived with me, and I made doubt comfortable. I would find myself in isolation because I feared whether or not I would damage my kids. For many men, we live in this place. We live outside knowing that we want better, but never open up on how we can get better and even be better. This is the telling story of fatherhood. But all in all, I discovered that getting out of my own way was the best way to parent. And I must lead, even though I may make mistakes. I must love unconditionally, and I must listen. That's the formula.
I will say that it is, when you're a first-time parent, I think I had 2 out of the gate, the pressure all of a sudden hits you, and you're thinking, I'm responsible for these lives. I mean, you know, it's not just like changing diapers and feeding. You're really thinking more about, it's such a big responsibility. And as parents, we all pass down things that we don't want to and things that we want to, you know, so you have to you kind of need to understand your own limitations and your own mistakes and be very, very patient. Boy, patience to be a parent, I think, is #1.
Well, I'm not a parent, but I have parents. So, you know, their role is so impactful. They're pretty much our first heroes that we meet, and they really set the blueprint for the way that we live the rest of our lives. And I know from my dad, I've learned a lot just about being your own person, you know, going to the beat of your own drum and not following the crowd.
Isn't it funny how, as you get older, then you realize what your parents
Yes.
did for you? You did not get it when you were younger.
Yeah, I'm like, what? You know, other people's parents didn't do that, but now as an adult, I understand, you know, they were right all along.
right.
So I'll
Very
give y'all
good.
that.
Nice. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Hi. Hi. Hi, mic check. This thing, I didn't know that like came off. It was like a Velcro? Oh, okay. Here we go. Whew. I'm good. You need me to
We're just 2 days from the first Friday football fever of the season. High school football is back after a short off season thanks to spring football earlier this year. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson found out how a Triad team is handling the quick turnaround.
It feels like we just had high school football because we did. It's been 103 days since Grimsley High School played its last football game, and now the Whirlies are preparing to start a new season.
We're excited to get back going. Quick turnaround from last spring.
The Grimsley Whirlies won a state championship title in early May. Now 3 months later, they're set for a new season.
We've had a good summer, good workout with our guys.
Head coach Daryl Brown says his guys had 32 days off from their last game until summer workouts started. That's not normal.
You have more time to kind of develop your players, and that's kind of what we lost a little bit with the 2 seasons being backed up. But everybody's in the same boat, and so you handle it the best you can.
Coach says he changed up the game plan this offseason.
Normally in the summer we do a lot of football stuff. This summer we did not because we just finished playing football. So we did more conditioning, weight room, that kind of stuff.
He says this year's team is different, graduating a lot of players on the defense.
We returned this year, though, some really good players on the offensive side of the ball with our quarterback, Alonzo Barnett, and Tyson Resper, and Jael Melton, just to name a couple guys. Defensively, though, we like what we got. We got some young players.
No matter if you're new to the team or how much time you had to prepare for the 2021 season, the Whirlies are ready.
We're prepared, and we're looking forward to Friday night.
Grimsley is set to host Clayton Friday night at 7 p.m.
It's just crazy. It's how few days came in between the winning this championship to summer workouts. I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see how the players are able to adjust to that, because on one side you're saying, well, they didn't have enough time to rest and recover, but then on the other side it could be, well, they haven't had enough time to get into like a summer slouch, and so maybe they'll just pick up where they left off.
And I think picking up like this, they're still riding high on that championship win, so that's also a motivator too.
It's almost like a well-deserved break, you know. I mean, after you do this championship thing, then you do need some time off to kind of get your mindset back ready. And I know he said that they didn't go hard at it all summer because it was such a quick turnaround. You don't have to. You got to give your time, your body time, really, to recover and renew.
Yeah, and the thing they were explaining to me was when you normally end a season in the end of November, early December, you have a lot of time. That means you can work out and kind of do that more slowly. This time they had to speed that up.
Well, it's nice to see that football is starting on time this year. A small victory.
Looking forward to the concessions, you know, just being in the crowd with your friends, socializing. I was the person that was always walking around talking to people.
Yeah, and the Friday football fever. You know, I have missed pizza on Friday night in the newsroom. It probably won't happen this year, but you know, just the idea of it. Just the idea of
maybe we'll get it back
football
one day.
getting back a little bit. All right, thanks, Amanda. We'll be right back.
Happened to be my limit. Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. Do you think we'll actually get the cookie story in? Okay.
Michigan. Yeah, I'm here, bro. No worries. I'm back and better. Back and better. How do I sound?
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Eric Chilton and Chad Silver.
Right now, we are awaiting an announcement from President Biden that could have far-reaching impacts on our nursing homes. He's expected to mandate vaccines for all nursing home staff in order to continue receiving federal money. We will bring you that announcement live when it happens.
In the meantime, let's get into some of your headlines with your 4 to 5 roundup. Governor Cooper announced the final winners of the vaccine lottery, and the triad, we are still lucky. Lily Fowler from Yadkin County is the final winner of the $1 million vaccine lottery. She is a senior at NC State University, and Lily said she got her vaccine because she transferred to Raleigh for school, and with a bigger city, there's a bigger risk. She shared what she plans to do with that money.
I think I'll probably just maybe invest and wait till I'm going to buy a house. However, in the short term, I do want to take my baby cousin Kinsley, who loves Elsa and Mickey, to Disney World when it is safer to do so.
Oh, I love it. The final winner of the Cash for College Scholarship is 15-year-old Breland Dean from Garner, North Carolina. We've also had Audrey Chavis from Winston-Salem win the college scholarship. Jessica Klima from Greensboro won the second scholarship, and Shelley Ryman of Winston-Salem was the first winner of the $1 million vaccine.
We are following breaking news right now. President Biden is expected to announce vaccine mandates for nursing home staff in order to continue receiving federal funding. Let's listen in.
Pandemic of the unvaccinated. While we're starting to see initial signs that cases may be declining in a few places, cases are still rising, especially among the unvaccinated. There are still 85 million Americans who are eligible to get vaccinated or remain unvaccinated and at real risk. Across the country, virtually all of the COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths continue to be among the unvaccinated. In Alabama, more than 90% of the current hospitalizations are among the unvaccinated. In Texas, 95% of those in hospitals are unvaccinated. Right now, it's worse in states where overall vaccination rates are low. But let me be clear. Even in states where the vaccination rate is high, the unvaccinated in those states are also at risk. And we're seeing cases rise as a result. Quite frankly, it's a tragedy. There are people who are dying and who will die who didn't have to. So please, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, do it now. Do it now. It could save your life and it could save the lives of those you love. You know, and the good news is that more people are getting vaccinated. Overall, weekly new vaccinations are up more than 80% from where they were a month ago. While it can take up to 6 weeks to get fully protected after your first shot, this increased level of vaccination is going to provide results in the weeks ahead. Just remember, we have two key ways of protecting ourselves against COVID-19. One, safe, free, and effective vaccines. And two, masks. Vaccines are the best defense, but masks are extremely helpful as well. And for those who aren't eligible for the vaccine yet, children under the age of 12, masks are the best available protection for them and the adults around them. That's why we need to make sure children are wearing masks in school. Before I talk about the news related to vaccines, let me say a few words about masks and our children. Unfortunately, as we've seen throughout this pandemic, some politicians are trying to turn public safety measures, that is children wearing masks in school, into political disputes for their own political gain. Some are even trying to take power away from local educators by banning masks in school. They're setting a dangerous tone. For example, Last week, at a school board meeting in Tennessee, protesters threatened doctors and nurses who were testifying making the case for masking children in schools. The intimidation and the threats we're seeing across the country are wrong. They're unacceptable. And I've said before, this isn't about politics. It's about keeping our children safe. It's about taking on the virus together, united. I've made it clear that I'll stand with those who are trying to do the right thing. Last week, I called school superintendents in Florida and Arizona to thank them for doing the right thing and requiring masks in their schools. One of them said, "We teach science, so we follow the science." The other said, they have a guiding principle, students first. I just couldn't agree more with what they both said. And that's why today I'm directing the Secretary of Education, an educator himself, to take additional steps to protect our children. This includes using all of his oversight authorities and legal action, if appropriate, against governors who are trying to block and intimidate local school officials and educators. And as I said before, if you aren't going to fight COVID-19, at least get out of the way of everyone else who's trying. You know, we're not going to sit by as governors try to block and intimidate educators protecting our children. For example, if a governor wants to cut the pay of a hardworking education leader who requires masks in the classroom, the money from the American Rescue Plan can be used to pay that person's salary, 100%. I'm going to say a lot more about children in schools next week, but as we head into the school year, remember this. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, says masks are critical, especially for those who are not yet vaccinated, like our children under the age of 12. So let's put politics aside. Let's follow the educators and the scientists who know a lot more about how to teach our children and keep them safe than any politician. This administration is always going to take the side of our children. Next, I want to talk to those of you who can get vaccinated, but you haven't. The Delta variant is twice as transmissible as the Alpha variant. It's dangerous, and it continues to spread. Vaccines are the key to stopping it. We're making progress. Today, more than 90% of seniors have at least had one shot, and 70% of people over the age of 12 have gotten their first shot as well. That's good news, but we need to go faster. That's why I'm taking steps on vaccination requirements where I can. Already I've outlined vaccine requirements that are going to reach millions of Americans, federal workers and contractors, medical staff caring for our veterans at VA hospitals, and our active duty military reservists and National Guard. Today I'm announcing a new step. If you work in a nursing home and serve people on Medicare or Medicaid, you will also be required to get vaccinated. More than 130,000 residents in nursing homes have had, sadly, over the period of this virus, passed away. At the same time, vaccination rates among nursing home staff significantly trail the rest of the country. The studies show that highly vaccinated nursing home staff is associated with at least 30% less COVID-19 cases among long-term care residents. With this announcement, I'm using the power of the federal government as a payer of health care costs to ensure we reduce those risks to our most vulnerable seniors. These steps are all about keeping people safe and out of harm's way. If you walk into a government office building, you should know that federal workers are doing everything possible to keep you safe. If you're a veteran seeking care at a VA hospital, you should not be at a greater risk walking into the hospital than you were outside the hospital. And now, if you visit, live, or work in a nursing home, you should not be at a high risk of contracting COVID from unvaccinated employees. While I'm mindful that my authority at the federal level is limited, I'm going to continue to look for ways to keep people safe and increase vaccination rates. And I'm pleased to see the private sector stepping up as well. In the last week, AT&T, Amtrak, McDonald's, they all announced vaccine requirements. I recently met with a group of business and education leaders from United Airlines to Kaiser Permanente to Howard University. We're also doing the same thing. Over 200 health systems, more than 50 in the past 2 weeks, have announced vaccine requirements. Colleges and universities are requiring more than 5 million students to be vaccinated as they return to classes this fall. All of this makes a difference. The Wall Street Journal reported the share of job postings stating that new hires must be vaccinated has nearly doubled in the past month. Governors and mayors in California, Maryland, Massachusetts, New York, Oregon, and Washington have all announced vaccination requirements. So let's be clear. Vaccination requirements have been around for decades. Students, healthcare professionals, our troops are typically required to receive vaccines to prevent everything from polio to smallpox to measles to mumps to rubella. In fact, the reason most people in America don't worry about polio, smallpox, measles, mumps, or rubella today is because of vaccines. It only makes sense to require a vaccine that stops the spread of COVID-19. And it's time for others to step up. Employers have more power today to end this pandemic than they have ever had before. My message is simple. Do the right thing for your employees, consumers, and your businesses. Let's remember, the key tool to keeping our economy going strong is to get people vaccinated and at work. I know that I'll have your back. They should know I'll have their back, because they have the back of the states trying to do the right thing as well. For example, yesterday, I instructed the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to extend full reimbursement through the end of the year to state deployments of National Guard in support of COVID-19 response. Nearly 18,000 National Guard members are supporting our response nationwide, from caring for patients to administering vaccines to running testing sites to distributing supplies. As the states continue to recover from the economic toll left by COVID-19, the full reimbursement of National Guard services during this pandemic will be another tool that will help them shore up their budgets, meet the needs of their communities, and continue our economic recovery. These are the latest steps we're taking to get more people vaccinated. Next, I want to speak to you all of you who are vaccinated. How should you be thinking about the moment we're in? First, know that you're highly protected against severe illness and death from COVID-19. Only a small fraction of people going to the hospital today are those who have been vaccinated. And we have a responsibility to give the maximum amount of protection, all of you the maximum. Earlier today, our medical experts announced a plan for booster shots to every fully vaccinated American, adult American. You know, this will boost your immune response. It will increase your protection from COVID-19. It's the best way to protect ourselves from new variants that could arise. The plan is for every adult to get a booster shot 8 months after you got your second shot. Pending approval from the Food and Drug Administration, the CDC's Committee of Outside Experts will be ready to start this booster program during the week of September 20, in which time anyone vaccinated on or before January 20 will be eligible to get a booster shot. So that means that if you got your second shot on February 15th, you're eligible to get your booster shot on October 15th. If you got your second shot on March 15th, go for your booster starting November 15th, and so on. Just remember, there's a simple rule. 8 months after your second shot, get a booster shot. These booster shots are free. We'll be able to get the booster shots in any one of approximately 80,000 vaccination locations nationwide. It will be easy. Just show your vaccination card and you'll get a booster. No other ID, no insurance, no state residency requirement. My administration has been planning for this possibility in this scenario for months. We purchased enough vaccine and vaccine supplies so that when your 8-month mark comes up, you'll be ready to get your vaccination free, a booster shot free, and we have it available. It will make you safer and for longer, and it will help us end the pandemic faster. Now, I know there's some world leaders who say America shouldn't get a third shot until other countries got their first shot. I disagree. We can take care of America and help the world at the same time. In June and July, America administered 50 million shots here in the United States, and we donated 100 million shots to other countries. That means that America has donated more vaccine to other countries than every other country in the world combined. During the coming months, fall and early winter, we expect to give out another about 100,000 boosters, and the United States will donate more than 200 million additional doses to other countries. This will keep us on our way to meeting our pledge to more than 600 million vaccine donations, over $500 million. As I said before, we're going to be the arsenal of vaccines to beat this pandemic as we were the arsenal of democracy to win World War II. So let me conclude with this. The threat of the Delta virus remains real, but we are prepared. We have the tools. We can do this. For all those of you who are unvaccinated, please get vaccinated for yourself and for your loved ones, your neighborhood, for your community. And to the rest of America, this is no time to let our guard down. We just need to finish the job with science, with facts, and with confidence. And together, as the United States of America, we'll get this done. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
You have been listening to President Biden give an update on COVID-19 and our vaccines here in this country. And the big development that we have heard today, we were anticipating this. He says that nursing home staff will be required to be vaccinated to continue receiving federal funding, including Medicare and Medicaid. This impacts nursing homes across the country. Also, he talked about today's news of a booster shot 8 months after your initial immunization. He says the program should be up and running next month. We're going to reset here quickly, go to break, and we will be right back.
completely different situation today than what we had to deal with yesterday, that's for sure, and we're thankful for that. No more tornado warnings. We're looking at pretty much clear skies today. Now, we could get some showers tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's start out with where we are now with temperatures in the 80s and really just about where they should be. 86 degrees in the Triad, 87 in Raleigh, Fayetteville at 91. It's very hot toward the Sandhills. In fact, when you factor in humidity with all of this, we were noticing that around the Pinehurst area, it feels like it's 97 degrees right now. Yes, very hot, or it feels like it's hot. Now tomorrow, late day showers and storms could develop ahead of that cold front that will dip down to the south. Thank goodness this cold front is coming, because look at Henri. It looks like headed right toward our coastline. However, this system, once it encounters that cold front, should do an abrupt turn back to the north. And that's a great thing, because this is forecasted to be a Category 1 by Saturday, or possibly by Friday, excuse me, with winds at 80 miles per hour. Now, what we're watching is the end of that track. It's interesting. You don't see this a lot, but when you look at we call it the spaghetti models, but basically each line here represents another mathematical formula to figure out where this storm could go. And most of them take it back inland again, up toward New York and Boston and up to the New England area. So that is something that we'll be watching. That is a similar path to what happened with Sandy, if you remember that. All right, tonight we'll see mostly clear skies. We'll see that low around 70. Tomorrow, some scattered late day storms possible. That's a high of 90 degrees tomorrow. It'll be a little bit toasty. We look at the 7-day. We're at 90 tomorrow, but then a cooler 86 on Friday as rain chances spike at 50%. And by Saturday, though, we get back to normal, variably cloudy skies, upper 80s for highs, 87 and 89 for Saturday and Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, drop down a degree each day. They're 89 Monday, 88 Tuesday, 87 Wednesday. Each day, it's partly cloudy with that typical late day pop-up shower or thunderstorm.
A former Triad basketball star is giving back to local kids in a big way. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey found out what Sam Hunt's been up to.
Yeah, many of you know Sam Hunt for his time on the basketball court at Dudley High, North Carolina A&T, and NC State. But what you may not know is Sam loves the kids of Guilford County more than basketball. That's why he's partnered with Kingdom Cuts Barbershop and attorney Nishad Davis to put together a back-to-school drive and a community event this Saturday.
It gives kids a chance to really see what's going on, to see other people in the community trying to do positive things. Because I think sometimes they look at TV or they look at social media and everything isn't positive. So just give them a positive outlook, something to do on a Saturday before school starts, and just to get them encouraged to be ready to go for the school year.
Hunt told me he wants this event to be all about love and positivity. That's why he's teamed up with attorney Nishad Davis to help show our kids there are no limits to what you can become.
I'm a proud member of this community. I'm from the east side of Greensboro. And anytime I get an opportunity to be a part of making impact, I really love to do that. So when Sam Hunt and Rod Cathcart asked me to be a part of this event, I love to see smiles on young people's faces.
This event will start Saturday at 8 a.m. and will go as long as supplies last. They will be set up behind Kingdom Cuts Barbershop at 825 Westgate City Boulevard. There will be food, family, and plenty of fun. Each kid will get a book bag with supplies. There will be haircuts available as well, and a bounce house.
Love a bounce house. Well, the next time you go to the store, consider helping make sure every student is ready for the first day. Our Tools for School supply drive is happening right now. We've got collection boxes set up at 19 local Walmarts. If you can, pick up a few extra supplies and drop them in one of those boxes. We'll be collecting supplies all month long. Find a full list of the supplies and drop-off locations in the Good Morning Show section of our website. is at the... Hey, is it the Vic Apartments that he's at? Okay. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island.
Hi, Callie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am on the move.
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
It's time for my 2 cents. The coronavirus pandemic has impacted all aspects of our lives. It's even helped us to reassess what's important to us. For me, I've prioritized self-care and spending quality time with family. For others, it may be more extreme. I've recently talked with close friends who've said they've thought about changing careers. Many said they wanted more work-life balance. They're not alone. A Washington Post Schar School poll found that nearly 1 in 3 U.S. workers under 40 thought about changing occupations since the pandemic began. Roughly 1 in 5 workers of all ages did the same. Many people polled said the pandemic made them realize life is short. Now is the time to chase their dreams. For some, that may mean starting a new career or moving to a new part of the country. The thought of starting over may sound ludicrous, but with a plan and research, it is possible. If you found yourself unhappy or unfulfilled, don't be afraid to consider other options. Life doesn't always happen the way we think it will. I mean, who thought we'd be in this global pandemic? A change in routine may be what's best for you. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Two major announcements. People who work at nursing homes who serve patients on Medicare and Medicaid will now be required to get the COVID-19 vaccine, plus booster shots for people who have already been fully vaccinated.
President Joe Biden made the announcement just a few minutes ago. Boosters are expected to start the week of September 20th, but only if it's been 8 months since someone got their last Pfizer or Moderna shot. The plan is subject to approval from the FDA and CDC. Federal